Dear guests, welcome to the Watcher Poll. It is our honor having with us today Ms. Željana Zovko, member of the European Parliament from Croatia and the European People's Party, who is currently in the European Parliament, serving as the Vice Chair of the EPP Group, as well as the Vice Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. She is now running for her third mandate, therefore we are connecting directly from campaign in Zagreb. There are just a few days left. Ms. Zovko, welcome to the Watcher Poll, and as you are experienced diplomat, I would like to start with the questions coming from the Foreign Affairs. How do you see that EU should position itself in the next mandate based on all the challenges that we see in foreign policies and foreign affairs around the European Union?
Right. This extremely challenging geopolitical situation has unified our European Union and especially our European People's Party around the same goal and same understanding, and that is that we have to invest and to be more reliable on our own defense and to invest much more into the production and coordination of weapons in European Union. So with this fact that we are having aggression on Ukraine, Russian aggression and ongoing aggression in Ukraine, turbulent situation in the Middle East with Hamas taking hostages and this terrible situation in Gaza, and also migration waves from all the failed states that we have seen in north of Africa. European Union has at this moment many questions to answer and also to anticipate future dangers. With that in view, European People's Party has in its own program proposal to have a commissioner for defense that will coordinate and that will also work on strengthening this European pillar of defense within NATO. NATO is our main security umbrella, but we must rely as well on our own extreme dangerous situations that are coming from all the sides and from all the borders, starting from the east to the Western Balkans. We have also invested a lot in this enlargement mechanism and enlargement promotion of the enlargement to Western Balkan and to the Eastern Partnership, because with strengthening and democracies on our borders, with having new countries joining the European Union that are on our borders, we are also defending our borders and we are also helping to push back the dangers that are coming. We must be responsible and we must be aware of what is going in the world, because foreign affairs and that was quite exotic for many has made us aware nowadays that our trade and our economy and well-being is depending on that. That's why, with the view of future challenges, this whole election process is for European People's Party fight for democracy, and that is also the main principle of our campaign, because we are fighting autocracies, we are fighting hybrid campaign, and we are fighting all these challenges that are playing with the people's hearts and minds in also in within European Union, because people are very much afraid and their mental health are also very fragile after all these pandemics that we had and all the dangers that we are facing in the world. So it's quite challenging in foreign affairs and foreign trade. We are insisting also to make trade agreements with like-minded partners, and that is why we are promoting as well in this last period. We have made important trade agreements with New Zealand and with Chile, and we will also insist on making trade agreements and to trade with countries that that European Union can also promote and make alliances in the future.
Thank you very much. My question goes when we were talking about the enlargement, where do you see the enlargement on the agenda of the next European institutions? During this term, you achieved and you were a big promoter of the Bosnia and Herzegovina candidate status that was granted, and we hope that the negotiations are going to start very soon. So what do you think when we also talk about the Western Balkans, where the enlargement is going to be on the agenda of the upcoming European Commission as well as other institutions?
After the aggression on Ukraine, new push towards the enlargement in order to show these autocracies that Europe is fighting with its partners with the enlargement mechanism in order to protect its values. So Western Balkan that was pushed aside for many years, and there was no dynamism in this enlargement procedure, has come back to the agenda, especially Bosnia and Herzegovina, that is a key country that has a very fragile situation with the third countries influencing as well its foreign policy. So together with our Prime Minister Plenković, I have worked very much on pushing back Bosnia and Herzegovina on the track to get the same attention because a fragile state, fragile Bosnia and Herzegovina that is not on European path is also destabilizing Croatian borders. Unfortunately, we still have an unresolved issue of Croatian Croat representative in Bosnia and Herzegovina presidency. But for the second terms, they are not having a legitimate representative that was made in Paris peace accords, and this situation is making influencing Bosnia and Herzegovina foreign policies and representation in the different on different positions and on different very important issues. So this is something that has to be resolved, and we are working very hard. Commission is aware, High Representative is aware, and Prime Minister and President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, is very aware of this issue, this problem that was the similar problem like the respect of Good Friday Agreement that we resolved successfully, and after with the Windsor Agreement, we have lowered the tensions for the hard border between Ireland and Northern Ireland. So in Bosnia and Herzegovina, that Prime Minister Plenković and I, through my work in Foreign Affairs Committee, have helped to make Commission and Parliament aware that opening negotiations agreement with Bosnia and Herzegovina and pushing it on the European track is the way to the harmonization of the relations and to the peace and stability in the country. But we are also in the next term I will work on this issue that we have to have the full respect of the peace agreement that has brought three communities together. And the disrespect of this peace agreement is creating tensions and polarizing situation, pushing it back to the situation of two communities, one pushing towards centralism, the other one pushing towards the separatism, and the only one, the smallest community, Croat community, that is also holder of European Croatian passports that were a glue between these two separatist and centralistic uh, forces is the only one that is offering solution through federalization, like we had in Belgium, that can introduce European way of life, European decentralized as well distribution of finances, and also normalization and the true European path for the Western Balkan countries.
Basically, my question was exactly about files which you see in this mandate, also including those related to the opening negotiations with Bosnia and Herzegovina as the key ones, and what would be the focus of your next mandate in the European institutions? What would you stand for? Are we going to continue to see you in the Foreign Affairs Committee? I know that you cannot say now 100%, but like, what would be the focus of the next mandate?
The focus of my next mandate, and as I'm specialized in foreign affairs issues as well, and I did so many reports on peace and stability and preventive diplomacy as well. Preventive diplomacy actions that our external action service has to do in order to prevent future destabilization on our borders will be to continue my work that I have done so far, and I am recognized in the public and by the citizens on the issues of peace and reconciliation, but by bringing a just solution to all the communities, to all the minorities wherever they are, and to bring stabilities on our European borders, and also to bring back the equal position of Croats in Bosnia and Herzegovina, to the full participation in the government from the presidency until the lowest level, and Bosnia and Herzegovina advancing to European Union, and also full respect of the Croat and other minorities in Western Balkan, because without this full respect, we will always have tensions that are bringing frustration in a region, and to lower tensions by offering much more objective view for the future to all the young people. I mean, I work through the committee on culture and education to increase Erasmus Plus for young people to travel, to be much more educated, to invest more in university research. And I was also co-rapporteur for IPA 3 pre-accession funds, and I was a rapporteur for my group for this facility and growth mechanism in the foreign affairs aspect for Western Balkan that gave 6 billion euros. So all these incentives will also give offer opportunity and return to normalization, the Western Balkan countries, and help to bring to close this black hole that we are having there, and that will also help migration waves. That will also help to stop, and it will also help to fight corruption that we are sometimes facing in these countries.
Now,
And
when you
return back to
Sorry for interruption, but I wanted to ask you, when you mentioned the Committee on Cultures, you have been working on very important files during this mandate, starting from the new EU Bauhaus, also, as you mentioned, Erasmus Plus, and also many different files which have an impact on the EU media. During this interview, we heard the Grički top, we heard bells from the churches in Croatia. How can we preserve this European culture, and what can be, and we are now talking through all these new media, and what can be done to improve overall cultural framework within the European Union?
Okay, I was a rapporteur for new European Bauhaus, and by this report on this new vision of architecture that is made for Europeans to be healthy, to be happy, to be safe. I contributed with very important amendments that refer to safety and security in building this new European architecture and the new environment that will be healthy and that will also be beautiful for Europeans to enjoy. We are in the heart. I'm sitting in the heart of Zagreb that went through two terrible earthquakes, And with this new architecture, we are helping also Croatia also endure this terrible earthquake in Banovina. And I initiated two pilot projects to be done in Croatia as well, that, to see and to show that this future architecture of European Union should respect our cultural heritage, our national heritage, our religious heritage, and as well, but also involved much more elements of safety and security for the for the and to give a response to this unpredictable natural catastrophes that we will face also in the future, earthquakes, fires, and this is something that I greatly contributed in my work. Um, for me, um, our cultural heritage is something that make European way of life so attractive for all the world, and we know that European Union has the most cultural sites under UNESCO on a UNESCO World Heritage list. And that's why this tourism industry is booming, and we will always have people who are interested and who are educated and who want to see European past visiting all these sites. But they have to be also improved by adding this element of safety, security, and also this architecture of a new European Bauhaus has to offer much more green areas, much more friendly areas, and to make people gather more, to make people get away from the computers, get away from mobile phones, and from being isolated, because we know that isolation and loneliness is one of the big pandemics that we are facing now with population in Europe.
When you mentioned UNESCO, this is basically a very familiar topic for you, since you were working very close also to put, I'm not going to mention now because I'm sure that you will do it, some of the very important European sites on the heritage list. Also, besides that, you have a unique experience when it comes to being a diplomat in Spain, covering Andorra, being diplomat in France, covering Monaco, and also in Italy and covering San Marino. Those microstates are basically as well a heritage of the European Union, and some of them are very close to complete the process of a special partnership. You were a rapporteur, so could you tell us how do you see the future partnership between the microstates and the European Union?
I'm very happy that I was contributing also this much closer relations with European Union and with the European Union safety and security instruments to these microstates, San Marino, Monaco, and Andorra, because I was ambassador in my past in these countries, and they have long history and European history and their specificities as they're small countries, but they preserved with their proud people their past and heritage. So I'm very happy that they concluded these agreements, and I hope that these agreements will be voted in a referendum, and that it will help them in the future danger, in the future crisis, to be much more safer and to be much more resilient at the time of the pandemics. I know that they didn't have an opportunity to access to a common purchase of vaccines, and I was writing questions and insisting with the European Commission that they included as well, that I was insisting that they are inviting the political community when they met for the first time, because these countries, it's in our interest as well that that they have much closer relationships with the European Union, because of our own also interest, as as they cannot be left apart and left outside of European Union's sphere of also decision making, because in this volatile world, all these autocratic regimes are trying to find a weak spot for European Union safety and security. So closer we get, more agreements we have, and with the help for them to preserve their way of life, as we are fighting to preserve our European way of life, we will have hopefully very soon an excellent agreement, and also we will bring them much more benefits that Europeans are enjoying already.
Perfect. And now from the micro states, we go to much bigger states, but also very important partnership. You were very active in promoting transatlantic dialogue between the European Union and the United States. How do you see and where the whole relationship between the European institutions and the American institutions, also in the light of the upcoming elections in the United States, can be further strengthened?
Right. As the EPP vice president, I was in charge to open the channels of communication and to keep these channels of communication open with all the members of Congress, whichever specter they're coming. We cannot allow for us to happen this miscommunication in the future like we had in the last period of Trump's administration. Now these channels of communications are much smoother. We are not talking only to Washington, we are talking with all the states, with all the congressmen and the senators. And I see that we have achieved quite a lot of success. We have seen in unblocking the aid in Congress for Ukraine. We have seen in the future that this, regardless of whoever is elected as a president, we will work together on all the basic and all the important issues. And this parliamentary diplomacy is the key for the checks and balances on both sides of the oceans. We have a common heritage because our diaspora has built the bridges already, and it's contributing a lot to the life in different American states and with the different influencing decision makings with the congressmen and senators, and I appreciate that. We are working a lot on technology issues. We are working a lot on innovations, and they are looking also to our own regulations as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. We have differences on trade issues and of some issues that are the same for the Americans, whichever political party they are coming from. But we have a common positions, and democracy and fight for democracy is the basic common approach that we are having and we will always have. So I can say that I was very successful in achieving these good contacts and good networks, and I can see that in the future we will have a continuation of excellent relations with our transatlantic partners that we are having right now.
Thank you very much. And my last question goes, we know that you are very busy, and thank you very much for having time to talk to us because of the campaign. How is campaign in Croatia going? Which result do you expect? And of course, one last question, whom do you see as on top candidates and in the end, top leaders of the European Union?
Our campaign is going excellent. We have we have excellent feedback from the people on the ground, for citizens. Croats have seen a great improvement in their everyday life. These European funds have built a much better way of life for Croatia. We have a great tourism industry booming. We have Croatia is an excellent place to come and visit. We have digital industry investment. I was in Osijek yesterday. Young people have told me that Osijek has changed dramatically in the last 10 years since I was at the first election campaign. And I can see that this government that is now of Andrej Plenković, that is on the third term, has an excellent approval rate within the people. We are expecting a powerful win. We have an experienced list of former MEPs, of ministers, vice president of the commission, prime minister is leading our list. And I'm expecting really a win. and just the approval like we have on in the parliamentary elections. And we support President of the Commission and our Spitzencandidate Ursula von der Leyen to take over and to continue with building European safe and democratic and with beautiful to be and to live with European way of life as our next new and the next president of the Commission, and Roberta Metsola as the next president of the Parliament.
We wish you all the very best for the campaign. There are just a few days left, and we look forward to meeting you again here in Brussels and in the European Parliament. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and kind regards from Zagreb, that is building and rebuilding and renovating, but booming with life and with lots of sun here in Croatia.
Thank you very much. Dear guests, this was our interview with the Vice Chair of the European People's Party Group in the European Parliament and Vice Chair of Foreign Affairs Committee, Member of the European Parliament from Croatia, Ms. Željana Zovko.